Hello, my name is Reddie and I'm the Director of Justice and Inclusion for Churches Together in Britain and Ireland. And I'm here to talk about Racial Justice Sunday, which takes place on the 9th of February 2025. And it's an opportunity for British and Irish churches to collectively focus on racial justice, especially to remember, reflect and respond to racial justice matters. So by remembering, they remember the importance of racial justice. In terms of reflecting, they reflect on human diversity and they thank God for it. And by responding, they respond to working to end injustice, racism and ignorance through prayer and action. Now, Racial Justice Sunday was established in 1995 by the Methodist Church following the tragic murder of Stephen Lawrence in April 1993. A few years later, my organisation, Churches Together in Britain and Ireland, agreed to mainstream this special Sunday, and we began to produce resources to ensure that all churches could engage with it. Racial Justice Sunday now takes place on the second Sunday in February, and in 2025 we actually mark the 30th anniversary of Racial Justice Sunday. I'm pleased to be the editor of this year's resources, the resources for 2025, which once again, are produced by Churches Together in Britain and Ireland in collaboration with our sponsoring churches. And this year's theme is a coat of many colours, reflecting the increasing diversity that exists in British and Irish churches. Now, both the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible and the New Testament are replete with verses and references to diversity, both in terms of this world and also in God's kingdom to come. And one only has to reflect on the verses that speak of a house of prayer for all nations, Isaiah 56 verse 7, and the events of Pentecost in terms of Acts 2, of a multitude from every nation, Revelation 7 verses 9 to 17, to see that ethnic diversity is a part of God's amazing divine plan. And there's little doubt that British churches, especially in the largest cities and towns, are very much a microcosm of a world in a congregation, which is indeed a blessing that should be celebrated. And equally, the fact that these believers have breathed some much needed spiritual life into our churches reveals that this is very much a movement of God for which the Lord must be praised. Yet despite this amazing reality, inequality still exists in our church, and it's still a factor that blights far too many experiences of folks from global majority heritage backgrounds. And this leaves people feeling as if they don't belong in the house of the Lord, or are not being given the opportunities to use their God-given talents to further the Lord's kingdom. Given the unwelcome decline in attendance over the last several decades, British and Irish churches must wake up to the reality that God is doing a new thing. Isaiah 43 verse 19, among those Christians who now call these shores home. In our resources for 2025, there are sermons and reflections that address the importance of inclusion and the need for all Christians to engage in the righteous work for racial justice. In our reflections and sermons, our writers, who actually hail from many parts of the globe, describe their experiences of being part of this coat of many colours. Once again, we are offering excellent materials that enable all churches to worship, pray and reflect on what it means to be a truly equitable, justice-driven, loving body of Christ. And we've provided a veritable tableau which churches and Christians can use in its entirety, or from which they can select particular items as befits their worship style. Moreover, our hymns, worship songs, Bible readings complement the liturgical materials, ensuring Christians and churches can fully engage with this subject. Equally, we have provided a thorough list of reading materials from Christians largely based in Britain and Ireland that will enable readers to further engage with their racial justice journeys. Finally, although Racial Justice Sunday is the second Sunday in February, the truth is every Sunday should be Racial Justice Sunday. Our God is a God of justice, who takes an interest in justice permanently and perennially. And if that's the way God sees it, so should we. Thank you.